ETimes and congratulations, like for your wedding, and you're like just all over the place, impressing us with your style, your life, your films, especially.
Thank
So
you.
just to start off with, like after Vicky Donor, it was like a banging debut in Bollywood. So how did you dodge getting stereotyped? Did you like you obviously picked up pretty different roles like Badlapur and stuff. So did you feel the constant need to reinvent and not repeat your characters?
Not at all. I don't think I could dodge that bullet of stereotyping. I don't think so. I tried, but first it takes you a moment to, of course, understand also what is stereotyping. You've read all these important words in interviews and certain things, and you're like, you don't know what it means when someone says certain things unless you experience it yourself. And so yeah, it did happen. And I didn't understand. I mean, I've said this in a couple of interviews when I've been asked, so let me think a different way to put it across. But I don't think I'll be able to do that. So coming back, yeah, to the same words, that yes, I was stereotyped like so many people, so many actors, different reasons for everybody, different times they were. And but the most important thing is that you have to come out of it. You have to reinstate your self belief in yourself. You have to reinstate your belief in the very reason why you're working in the industry, what you want to do, what kind of roles you want to do, and the fact that you need to be the driver of this journey. You will have a lot of people around you, which is great. You need that team. You need people around you to help you um, do a lot of things around, but the decision making or the perspective needs to be yours. Unless something is so refreshing that it actually opens your horizon and makes you feel broader, makes you feel that so far you've been thinking small, let's make it big, let's do something different. But I think I already made a debut with a film like Vicky Dona, which was as progressive as you could get at that time. So I didn't really understand that what needs to be fixed, what needs to be done. But it Badlapur again was another attempt, which was a smaller screen presence. That also I'm underlining because that's something which I was asked a lot of, that at those times, that aapka chota sa role hai. Now it's easier for me, more I feel comfortable to talk about it. But at that time it used to play a lot in my mind, that what am I doing, why are they asking me again and again the same thing, why do they compare me um, with my male counterparts with whom began my journey. And how does it matter if it's a small role, if it's a good film, it's a good director, and it's an impactful role, even if it's for 2 scenes? How does it matter? Why should it matter?
You've had a lot of box office successes, like beyond Vicky Donor, you've got Kabil, you've got Uri. So there's a lot of big money which is coming in. So do you feel that the box office figures make a difference to you? Do you feel that it's a validation of your performance?
Well, that money is not coming in my account, at least I know that for sure, I can tell you. uh, um, it feels good. It feels really good when your film does well. Obviously, I had a Bala also along with Uri the same year.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think the joy of filmmaking, or the certain characters which you've enjoyed creating or working on certain films, when you surpass that feeling that ye picture na, it should hit that mark. Obviously you want your film to do well, obviously you want audiences to love your film and all those things. But when you start thinking beyond that point na, that means you are fully wholeheartedly invested in that film or in that character, and you're enjoying that process. These things, they kind of they play a lot on your mind, and I wouldn't want to do that on a set. When I come, of course, once the whole idea is, as I said, we're making films not just for ourselves but even for the audience. Creativity and commerce, it's a very unique combination. But if it works well, if it jams well, I think nothing like it. So the whole idea is to do those films which have your heart in it, and something which has the ability to connect with the audience, and not just one aspect. So at least for me. So when something which you feel, for example, Uri or a Bala or a Kabil, these films had a lot of heart that went into these films, and I knew that I'm going to be a part. You always have that in your instinct. Your instinct never fails you. It's very rare that it fails you. You know that's going to be something special for different reasons, and for not just one, for many reasons. And when it works well, I think, of course, then that's the best feeling.
Also, just to follow up on your like previous answer where you said the money is not rolling into your bank account. So, what is your take on the pay disparity in Bollywood?
We're ऐसा नहीं है, we have a respective remuneration, and I respect that. But yes, there is of course a pay disparity, and it will take time, Shivani. As I said, things don't happen just overnight. अभी conversation शुरू हुई है. अभी next couple of films or next couple of years, maybe it starts. I'm sure it's already started taking a certain shape for certain actresses, and I'm glad. But for when you speak of the majority sentiment or the majority culture, it takes time, because it's something which is, of course, there's a structure to it. This is not just with films, but it's something which the structure has been there for really long time, or it will take time. But the good part is the conversation has begun, the awareness has become, and shouldn't be about pay parity for me. It should also be the kind of roles that are written first for women. When Bala came, a lot of people told Amar that, and me also actually, that, which was a backhanded compliment, that, उन्होंने बोला आप तो ये यामी कैसे कर पाएगी ये रोल, ये कॉमेडी है, she comes across as a very intense person, or whatever, everybody is different, versions, they have. So how will she do? So it just took one person's faith, to make that happen. But what I'm trying to say is that with Pari, with that character, keeping the execution part later, I'm not trying to blow a trumpet here of my performance. What I'm trying to say is it was written really well. It was written also really well. So you have to give it to the writers. You have to give it to the director to be able to execute that. So we need more such substantial opportunities also. It has to go both ways. It'll go hand in hand with the kind of roles that are being written, and the faith that the writers and makers and producers will have in female actresses. And I think the audience is ready for that. And a success of this kind of such films, and it doesn't have to be only a female led film. It can be both ways. A film can have a balance of both. Why not? There have to be characters written like that for females. I don't see why female, why aren't there many comedy characters written for females? Why can't actresses do comedy? We've had such outstanding actresses in the past do that. It's after a long time that I thought, when I read Pari, I've come across something like that. So I think it'll go both ways. जब यहाँ से dynamics, I think, शुरुआत होगी, तो I'm sure that gap, that bridge, I think the gap should be bridged, I think soon. I think, yes, of course, there is disparity when it comes to, remuneration, which we all are talking about. And as I said before, things don't happen just overnight. This is something which we are living with, and has been the structure of our, not just the industry, but that's how the society has been based upon since so many years. It can't just change overnight. But the good part is that we have at least these conversations. This awareness has begun, which is very, very important. I think before anything, it's that knowledge which is more important than anything else first. So that has come. But I think I'd also like to add very strongly hear the need to write good female parts. That is what I would really advocate for. That's really, really important. And like, for example, when I did Bala, let alone the fact that a lot of people must have told Ahmad, because they told me, so which was a way to compliment me, that, never expected you to do comedy and this and that. But I'm not just talking about what you saw on screen, but the fact that a role was written like that for an actress. Why not? Why not more such roles? Why not more diverse roles? Why not more substantial roles? And I'm not just talking about there has to be a female led film, or a female centric film, or a female oriented film, or whatever you want to call it. But even if, when they're both male and female actors in a film, why can't there be good writing for, both the characters? So I think it'll go hand in hand, your economics and the way we write these roles. I think they'll all go hand in hand, and I feel audience is ready. Is ready. If we give them a good film, if we give them a good role, good performance, good film, they will make it work, I'm sure. So as I said, it's not something which can happen just overnight. It'll take time, but I'm sure with the efforts of like-minded people will, I'm sure, make it happen. And another thing, just again a very small aspect, just to give you an example, that जब interviews होते हैं ना, पूछते हैं कि आपका क्या role है film में. If you've noticed, most of us, including myself, I've said, I play a very strong girl in this film. I play a very so have you ever seen a guy who's had to say, I play a very strong guy in the film? Why do we have to underline, right? We underline this word, I play a very strong girl. She's a very strong character. So, and I'm saying myself also, I've said this, I'm sure I've said this before, but until it struck me one day that why am I saying this? Why do I need to say this? We need to say this because we need to be expressive. It has to be verbose, the fact that I am a strong girl. The day these small things, which is there, that's the conditioning, that's the way, that's the perception. But I think, again, as I said, the good part is now there is a broader awareness. There is so much, it's almost, we're becoming a global village where we are opening up to new ideas. We're stretching our arms to newer possibilities and broader opportunities and better opportunities for everybody, regardless of anything.
Like a very beautiful perspective you put across. And just a
Thank you.
follow-up of that, like as you mentioned, that actresses need to underline the fact that they're playing characters. And additionally, actresses also have like very high beauty standards which are set. And you took a very strong post recently, like saying like by posting non-airbrushed pictures and non-edited pictures. So what inspired you to put across this entire message about self-love?
Yeah, I think, as I said, the things, that you learn and feel differently, even about yourself, with the course of time. You just have to allow yourself to be free. That's it. That's the whole idea. The perspective that I would have maybe 5 years back or 10 years back would be different from what I hold now. And there's always time for everything. There's always a correct time to do certain things. And I think it's just about listening to yourself and realizing that you need to create, as I said before also, you need to decide what works for you the best and what makes you feel good and what makes you feel happy and comfortable. Expressing that made me feel really good. And the fact that I read all the comments, I read them personally, and I thought I connected with so many girls and boys. And especially when, there's so many comments which said like, which were like, my boyfriend thinks or my husband thinks that, actresses have such flawless skin, and why can't you have, or this whole pressure of looking trying to look like you guys. It just made us you guys feel so human, and me feeling such a breather of relief. So you don't realize sometimes, that it everything has a tendency to have an impact in some sort of a way, and if it's a good one, I think it feels great. And this is something which I've been wanting to actually do for so long, but of course we are a part of an industry. We've chosen to be a part of an industry where your physical appearance or your vanity, all these things play a pivotal role, especially when you are an actress. And everything is tied up. You can't just say, अच्छा ये पर आपकी मर्जी है ना, आप तो मना भी कर सकते हो, ये ad वो ad, ये चीजें वो चीजें, but हर चीज इतनी आसान नहीं होती जितना जो 2 मिनट में कुछ लिख देता है उनके लिए. Every industry has its own pressures. Everybody has their own journeys, and I'm not just calling it a pressure, but it's a part of, comes with the part of a job that I do. And you got to do what you feel the best for yourself. तो अगर आपके पास पूरी liberty है, अगर आपके पास आपको लगता है right है to be who you are, to work what you want to, with whoever you want to, then so should be mine also. But then there are these platforms, there are times where you see a different aspect, a more personal aspect of a public figure. And I hope that people connect with that and take it in a positive stride, which they did. I'm so glad, because I felt really happy. It actually came from my heart. This is not something that photo shoot was planned like that or something. We just went with the flow, just thought that this is mine. This is something which I am doing. It's under my control. It's not going to any creators or anything. Why not do it the way Yami would do? So I did, and I wrote about it. And I wrote from my heart. So I think anything which comes from heart, I think it connects with people. They get it, they understand the sentiment, and I'm glad this is 2021, and yeah, it's coming with a lot of good changes as well.
Absolutely, it was a very inspirational post. That's true. Seriously, while speaking of disappointments which come on the way, so how have you sailed through those low phases and backed up and faced those rejections, or in your career?
Can I just single-handedly give the entire credit to my family for that? If it was not for my family, my mother, my sister, dad, my brother, I mean, that's my family. But of course, every daughter knows what, a mother is to her. And if it was not for them, the way they are, I don't think it would have been easy for me to survive emotionally so strongly. We are human beings. We are sensitive. We have emotions. We all do. And nobody's immune to disappointments or feeling low or having a bad day or bad days, or doubting yourself, or questioning things around. And so many of us, right? We all do. Everybody does. But you are lucky. You must count yourself lucky if you have a family, to lean on. So I can just single-handedly say my family, especially my mother.
Wow. Also, you're married to a filmmaker now, so professionally speaking, you all exchange ideas at home.
Wow, that's ideas. We talk about a lot of ideas. We talk about ideas which could be. We love actually watching films together. We love watching and anything and everything, and then we discuss that, and it's fun. We that's how our day ends. We watch something nice, and that's how the day. And no matter how long my day has been or his day has been, it has to end while watching something nice, and then we'll discuss it, and then the next day I'll be like, no, this is what I felt. What do you feel? and this is, he or she emoted so well. How do they catch on, emotions so well? And this, so anything, I will pick up some aspect and we will discuss, not just from the point of view that not just for that film that we watch, but also generally. I mean, we're just curious. It's just nice when you can discuss these things with someone who's of course, opinion matters a lot to me. I really look up to him, and something which can just help me in life, help me as an actor, no matter at what moment. So that's how we explore ideas.
Also, like in a year, you'll complete like a decade in Bollywood next year,
Yeah, next year.
2020. So, like, do you feel you've achieved everything that you hoped for in 2012, like when you arrived at Vicky Dono? Or maybe you feel like some project you let go, or do you regret something, or any advice you want to give to yourself? How is it now, like looking back to the decade?
I feel I've just begun. I feel this is 2013. No, seriously. Yeah, when I look back at all the films, and sometimes you come across certain pictures, or someone tags you on an old picture of yours, like, oh, this is what I was doing in 2014, 2015, and you have a whole track. But I feel really as if I've just made my debut in a lot of ways, in terms of being happy now with the kind of work that has come my way, or that's coming my way, or that I expect myself to do. I expected myself to do back then also, but then there can be difference in expectations and what you get. That's life. It happens. But the good part is that I learned it. Yes, I learned it the hard way, and that's the best way to learn. There is no other way possible. There is, of course. I mean, then you got to be really lucky to be. But I don't think anyone is that way. In some way or the other, you will come across a time where you feel, okay, that was very hard, but it was necessary. It was important. I kind of reached a stage where you feel there's nothing that I have to lose, and you have to have a reality check, most importantly, of where you stand or who you are. That's very essential. In my head, for example, I was like, oh, I come from a very successful debut film and a very good role, something that I got so many awards and appreciation. People were convinced that this is. I remember I used to go to Kolkata and they used to feel, oh, you're a Bengali, and whenever I used to go to Chandigarh, or they used to like, they never believe that I've been raised in Chandigarh. And so that's something which I would give to Shrita, of course, for helping me really get into the skin of the character. But the reality was totally something else, and it takes you a while to get that, to acknowledge it. And then you realize that this path, a certain path, doesn't work for you, which may be working for somebody else or some other actors. You may have a different journey. So you need to shift gears. You need to know how to adapt. And it comes with experience. It comes with time. It comes, especially when you have certain do's and don'ts. You have certain ethics in mind. You come with a certain thought process. And someone like me, I know I can't be I'm not comfortable if I'm being told to do something that, this is something which needs to be done. You need to be seen everywhere. You need to be there everywhere. Because if you don't feel comfortable doing something, working hard on yourself on an aspect which can be improved is different. But there'll always be a part of you which will always remain the same. And I think you should just let it be. You need to recognize what needs to be improved and improvised and be better with time, and what part of you needs to be just the way you were, and respect yourself for that. It's all right. And I do that. And I've done that. And I think that is why I'm happy. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy with this new journey that I feel I'm on. And there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be learned. There's a lot to be discovered. There's a lot which the audience needs to see what I'm capable of, and not just for the audience, but even for me myself, that what I can do. So I think I've just begun, and yeah.